And 3, 2, 1. What's up, George? What's going on in the House of Craze tonight?
In the House of Craze tonight, we have a friend of the program coming on, and he's going to be talking to us about his new imprint. And we're also going to be talking about the much-awaited topic for my friend Michael San Martino, Clingers. We're going to be talking about that. So stay tuned. It's coming right up.
We're not saying Klingons, we're saying Clingers. All right. So without further ado, let's get it.
We are the only show for independents all around, giving you a platform to spread your word all over town. Catch the Craze is the place to promote to your fans with the dream of Medina and Sam the Crazy Man. Subscribe to our show and never miss an episode. It's time to get your mans, listen to us on the go. Updated every week, we never miss a day. Join the squad, come on in. It's time to catch the Craze. If you are an independent, catch the Craze. Making moves on your own, catch the Craze. On your grind in the streets, catch the Craze. Join the movement, catch the Craze.
Yeah, George, we did it again. Come on now. You know you want to do it. Catch the Craze. Welcome to Catch the Craze Podcast. I'm your host with the most, Sam the Crazy Man Vera. And I am with
George, the Dreamer, Medina. What's happening, everyone? Welcome to another exciting episode of Catch the Craze. We are live. It is Tuesday, May 27th. And what's up, Lou? And we were away for a couple of weeks, but we are back, and we are going to be having a guest on the show who happens to be a friend of the program, like I mentioned in the soft open.
Yeah,
Mr. Kerry Chug will be on with us today.
Kerry, check your email.
Talking to us about his new imprint and what he's got going on in his world, creating and all that other fun stuff. But we also have we also have a topic tonight. Michael San Martino has been talking about clingers for the last couple of weeks, 3 weeks, I would say, and we're going to be talking about that. If you guys don't know what the heck a clinger is,
I know what a Klingon is.
We'll discuss it further as we get along. But if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe, comment, like, share this bad boy out to everyone you know. If you're if you're watching right now, hit the like button and do all that fun stuff.
Word.
But what's been going on, dog? We got a lot of stuff to talk about as far as like what we're doing and what we're going to be doing this year before our guest shows up. But what you got going on, dog?
Let's see. I got some cool stuff in the mail.
Okay.
Just a little side note. I backed Heavy Metal magazine on Kickstarter, and I got the Frank Frazetta cover.
Okay.
Nice, heavy, thick magazine. And I also backed Bad Bug, I guess is the name of the comic book. They have 3 books that I picked up all 3 books. It was one is called Cupid. The other one is called Periwinkle. The art is sick. And the other one is called Frost, and it's just like beautiful stuff. So it's always nice to get some really cool stuff in the mail that you forgot you backed.
Some of these take a while to get in, man.
Yeah, Heavy Metal took a minute to get here, but yeah. So that you got the last page's lettering, so we're on target to be get the Kickstarters in July, which is dope, and so that's exciting. That's done, and we're moving on to the next. And then I'll be making a surprise announcement in a couple of weeks about what's to come in Duty's world, and I'm getting ready for another convention. I'm getting ready for RetroCon. What's up, Relis into his house?
Release.
Yeah, I'm getting ready for RetroCon. I'm looking forward to it. I got a corner booth there. It's my first time. It was actually Aurelis who actually put me onto a RetroCon. So 2 years ago, and so I finally got in. I'm in there. Like swimwear. Hopefully it does well. It's gonna be my first one since Texoma, I believe, this year. It's been a while. I took a few months off. So in July. Dude, he's coming to Netflix. Oh man, from your mouth. Yeah. So I just been grinding. I got a secret announcement to announce in a couple weeks for Duty's World, and I'm just grinding, just knocking out pages and stories and some really cool stuff. So
Nice.
that's what I got going on, and I've been traveling for work, so I'll be traveling next week again. So we won't be here on Tuesday next week on Cast the Craze podcast, but I'll be here the week after. So
Nice. Yeah, man. Awesome stuff. June is right around the corner. And in June, I will be out in Long Island, in East Rockaway, Long Island. I'll be doing a show called Hurricane. And it's a one-day show, June 14th. It's at a church. And
Hurricane?
it's a one-day hurry, like a hurricane. Hurricane.
ah,
So yeah, I'm gonna be there for the day. There's a show that I wanted to get to. It's here in Westchester County, here in New York. It's called what is it called? I forget it. It's in White Plains, but I didn't get a chance to get in this year. So I'm gonna be checking it out though. I'm gonna be rolling around, going to different conventions. I'm hoping to be at Terrificon this year also. That's in Connecticut, but that's not till August. And if you guys haven't done so, check out my website. I have a pre-launch page up for my latest book, which will be coming out this fall in October, and that is The Shameless Plug. So that's coming out. Check out my website, getyourmeds.com. You can either pre-order the book. If you are not into the whole Kickstarter thing, you can pre-order the book now, or if you do want to wait for the Kickstarter and get some cool stuff in the Kickstarter, then you can always sign up for the pre-launch page. The campaign will be launching in October, so I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, man, it's gonna be a fun summer. It's gonna be a fun fall. So we'll see how it goes, man.
yeah. And you can still pre-order book 7 of There's an Alien in My Toilet, because that's available. It ships out in July, so with the Kickstarter on time with everybody's pick Kickstarters. There's the QR code. You can get the homage cover or that cover there, available on dutiesworld.com. So if you head over to dutiesworld.com, you can get yourself a copy. But yeah. So there's the promo for RetroCon. I'll be there. And then this is the one for Bell County Comic Con. I'm excited about Bell County. I'm looking forward to that one in August. I'm really excited. I'm mad because initially I bought a corner booth at Bell County with an 8-foot table, and somehow it screwed up my order, and so I got stuck with a 6-foot inline table, and I'm like, oh man, because it's a show that I need a lot of real estate because it's a crowded show. I mean, it brings in a few, like I think like 40,000-50,000 people, and I did extremely well last year, and this time I'm in the pit where I should be. Last time I was in a new building that they added, and so this year I'm in the pit. So I'm looking forward to Bell County. I'm really stoked about that. But yeah,
that's cool, dude. Yeah, you know what I did? I got actually next week. I most likely will be doing a stream live on my YouTube channel. So you guys check that out. I think it's gonna. Yeah, it'll probably be the Wednesday. I don't know if we're not gonna be on Tuesday. You let me know. It may be Tuesday night. But I do want to have I'm going to have Philip Russell on the show, he's distributing. He's doing some distribution for like small indies. And he's got a distribution company called Philbo Distribution, which has signed on. Zenoscope has signed on to him. And he's got a couple of more, of those indie publishers that he's got signed on. And he's going to be distributing my my Wonder Duck, The Adventures of Wonder Duck. I am distributing the book as single issues. I always say the only shot you miss is the shot you don't take. So is that take a shot.
So is that minimum order that you have to have printed, or is it just based on how many orders you get?
It's just based on how many orders you get. His company's not big enough to force those things on you. You know what I mean? Like he's trying to get off the ground himself. So we've been talking to some stores throughout the country, not throughout the country, here in the state of New York. I'm going to be doing some of that as I travel, and just spreading the word, letting people know, because Sam, like we may think, hey, we got distribution and it's all gravy. Now you still got to do the work. You still got to contact the stores, let them know, hey, I'm in this book or whatever it is, order it, here it is. So we're going to be talking about it next week, so check that out. It'll be on the channel.
You're holding out on us. What's up with the hat?
Oh, the hat. No, so this is a prototype. This is the Shameless Plug. I'm thinking about getting the little what are those things called? The little patches because this is basically just like taped on. You know what I mean? I did it through what was the company? Sticker Mule has like sometimes you can get T-shirts. You get they had this, so I was just doing this. You know, it was like they're expensive, man. Hats are expensive, dude.
Yeah, I know they are. Mucho. These hats right here was so expensive. That's why we did Initials 1. Yeah, but I did it, because of marketing. But yeah.
No, that's what it is, man. That's what it is. I don't. Is Carrie in the back room?
Carrie's in the back. He's chomping at the bits. He's like, yo, I'm in the green room. There's no enchiladas back here. There's nothing for me to drink. No samosas. What's up with that, George? I thought you had the green room, bro.
Nah, dude. I failed.
What happened was,
I didn't know what samosas were.
Samosa. He said samosa. That's what he said.
And that was, I was embarrassed to ask. So I was like, you know what? Carrie doesn't get it. So
all right. Let's bring our guest on, Carrie Chug. What's up?
Here I am. Oh, I look better if I emphasize that a little bit more.
There he is. What's up, Carrie? How you doing, man?
We're it's good. My wife and I, we just had our anniversary. We had a nice vacation in the southern part of the state, St. George. Nice and warm there, and got just as warm now.
Well, congratulations, man! Congratulations. That's good. That's awesome. That's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So anniversary. How can we ask how many years?
22.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
That's fantastic.
That is amazing, man. Good for you.
What's the secret?
Just believe that no matter it's never been so bad that we could find a solution. So
nice.
Avoid the big mistakes as best you can.
I like it, man. Words of wisdom from Carrie. Thank you so much, man. Hey, listen, Carrie, we've had you on the show before. You're always in the chat, and we appreciate your support all the time. For those who maybe have forgotten or don't know, tell us a little bit about Carrie Chug and your book Sledge, man.
So, yeah, I'm lifetime superhero aficionado, although I didn't get into the comics until mid to late 90s. But I'd always been a superhero fan, watching Super Friends, Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. I go back that far. And, that they always got my imagination going. But the more I watched it, the more ideas were coming into my head of what something different that I could bring into it, and that was the final product of that.
Nice, yeah, Sledge, man. Tell us a little bit about Sledge. Like, where'd that come from?
So, with him, I've always been a fan of the muscle man type, and I wanted him to fight well. Just like Batman can be that bulky. He also has the skills. I chose Krav Maga, boxing, and Greek pancratium.
Wow.
I like those for his body type.
Yeah.
And with all those fist fights, there's also going to be guns going around. So I decided I want to make him bulletproof. I just don't want to make him fist proof. So he has a force shield that deflects all inorganic weaponry. And he also, he's I say his job as a freelance inventor, and in doing that, he figures things out for himself. But he finally tapped into that the secret of making gravitons cause you to fly, as it's called. Both previous times I've been here, I had a nice physics friend to consult with on that, and. In time, it'll be revealed that he does have a criminal past, and I wanted to make him so that he could be operating within the law. So I say that one of his key things to make clear to authorities is, I'm not a vigilante, I'm a bouncer.
Nice. So how far along are you now? Because I know you. I mean, obviously you've been on the show before, and I know comics take a while. Together, right? So how far along are you as far as issues or as far as story-wise goes with Sledge?
So I managed to get published the initial three-part miniseries, and working on kickstarting number 4. Thank you for the link.
Yeah, there it is.
And yeah, this time, I mean, I wrote about a year's worth of scripts, and I decided, and I thought to myself, I didn't want to necessarily go in the order of how I wrote things. So I decided, what could be something that's keeps the excitement going is to go with this one where a bunch of notable citizens of the community are kidnapped, and they don't find out until too late. People don't find out until too late that they've been replaced by androids, weaponized androids.
Wow.
So he's got to sort that out. He's got to pick up on clues to these people, to these guys' behaviors, to confront them, and in time that'll escalate. There is a part 2 to this story. So part 2, that's the escalation. That's where he's going to find himself in over his head, and he's going to work alongside the police. The police know that they need him. So I'm bringing that delicate balance, because naturally the police and the sheriff's office, they feel uneasy about the whole thing, but don't have much choice.
You said you had obviously you had scripts written ahead of time. When you write that far ahead, as you're publishing and as you're putting these out, and I don't know if you do, because I reread scripts sometimes when I write them ahead of time. Do you find yourself changing things in the scripts that you've already written, or are you pretty solid with what you have and you're like, no, this actually still works?
I find myself having to change even when the pages start getting drawn.
Oh, okay.
And just because, dare I say that sometimes what the artist gives me an idea of what would work better down the line.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yes, I do that too sometimes, man. You get a page, and it could just be simple, something as simple as the expression the artist drew on the character, and you're like,
Exactly.
Oh, okay, maybe he'll say this instead of that now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's very fluid when it comes to that stuff.
Right.
I did want to ask you, because I know the last time you were here, I don't think we touched so much on this, and I wanted, before we let you go, I know you have your imprint.
Yes.
Ben Peaks. Now I was, as soon as you sent that over, I saw Sam's email. I was like, oh, let me look into this a little bit. Had no idea that Ben basically means mountain or mount.
Scottish.
It's a Scottish term. And so here you are, Ben Peaks. Talk a little bit about why Ben Peaks and how that came about.
So Ben Peaks, Ben Peak is kind of what we nickname the mountain that's right behind me. I live on the base of it, called Ben Lomond, and I know there's also a Ben Lomond somewhere in California. How I learned that was, I don't know if you guys ever seen that '85 movie, The Mask, about the disfigured kid.
Yeah.
But he went to Ben Lomond Junior High there.
Oh, really?
So that was something. Oh, cool! There, got a common ground. That's but cool. Around here, there's Ben Lomond everything. I mean, I go to Ben Lomond dentist office. So it's a common name for businesses around here. But Ben Lomond Comics doesn't really roll off the tongue. So I decided to go with the nickname of Ben Peak.
Ben Peak.
For that. And I guess, something that this probably influenced it was there's the urban legend with some credibility to it. I'll explain that Ben Lomond was the inspiration for the initial design of the Paramount logo. Now, mind you, it was extremely simple when it first originated because W.W. Hodgkinson, he merged his theaters with 2 studios, and they decided to go with Paramount. Mm-hmm. But that's the legend, and because W.W. Hodgkinson lived around here, he started his, at least one of his theaters started out in this area. Is
that still open?
No.
Kerry, like, is it around? Like, have they done anything in that location? Not as far as the movie theater, but like, is there like a plaque or something? That was from like 1907 or something.
Yeah,
I was reading.
Yeah, it got leveled, and I mean, it's fairly close to where we now have Megaplex.
Oh, okay.
But I think now is the parking terrace.
Really?
At this time.
Damn, man. Yeah, because he started that way back when, and
yes,
he was a pioneer when it came to a lot of the way distribution, film distribution was handled back in the early 1900s. So that's awesome that he actually lived. So he lived in Ogden, right, where you are? Right.
Yes.
Now. Yeah. That's awesome, dude. So that was the inspiration for it.
Yeah, I was thought if it works on the Paramount logo, I hope it should work as a comic book emblem.
Now you live on the base of the mountain. Have you ever like gone up, or is there like have you ever been up there?
I've climbed maybe halfway up there. The thing is, where it's behind me, you can't climb directly up it.
Yeah.
You have to go maybe 3 peaks back to climb around there, and it's a whole journey of a long series of mountains to get to the summit. And I mean, I think the round trip, I think it's like 12 miles to do.
Yeah.
And there's a much shorter, like lengthwise, except it's a much steeper.
Yeah. And
track.
I'm sure it's freezing up there.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's freaking cold up there.
And I keep telling myself maybe someday I'll reach the summit. Though I know, my parents, they had this really nice, this old Jeep, and they knew of a road that you could drive up there.
Right.
So who knows? Maybe I'll do it that way, the lazy way.
So you have your imprint, and was there a specific reason why you decided to start the imprint, other than obviously you're creating comics? But
Right.
was there a specific need for it? Was it a convention that said, "Hey, should I put you down as Kerry Chug?" You're like, "No, you know what, Ben Peak." Like, what was the reason behind starting the imprint?
I mean, it seems like an imprint label. I had to try that sometime, and it seems like one of those things that becomes the identity and that does draw attention. And all the more I decided, let's do the Marvel, top corner box, especially as much. I just looked through the Indie Planet catalog. There are tons of people who decided to start doing that.
Yeah.
So it's come back into fashion, and I said, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, there's a different feel. Like I feel like a lot of companies went away from that for a while. I mean, obviously the big two, and they simplified it. But I used to love that little corner box, man, on the upper left hand corner of the comic. It just made you feel like you were reading a comic book.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's cool that you're doing that. And so, are you doing any other than Sledge? Are you introducing new characters to the imprint, or what's the plan?
They'll be. See, I've already included his parents, and I decided that he should have brothers. So I'll feature brothers here and there. They'll probably mainly take turns.
That's cool, man. That's cool. I think that growing the universe might be a good idea. Are you sticking with that though, or do you have anything other like new outside of the Sledge universe?
So currently this is my main focus, and some things have gone through my head, and I'll confess, even though who knows if anybody really feels like this is a confession anymore. I've always liked the Star Wars prequels, guilty pleasure to a certain extent, and it did kind of bother me though in Revenge of the Sith that it wasn't as subtle as it should be, though, the way Palpatine lured Anakin to look into the dark side. I mean, he admitted that he likes the dark side. Mm-hmm. No red flag there. So I thought this whole idea that I hope to get to sometime is something. I mean, it would just be a complete parallel copycat thing if he were to fall like Darth Vader did. And I mean, where do you go from there if he does? So let's just say I have a mind to bring him to the brink before he manages to redeem himself. But I'll do a dark side. I wanted to do a dark side thing similar along those lines with the better idea that I see of what can make that more believable.
That's awesome, man. I think that it's a good idea to start and put in the new characters to kind of build up to that. Now, how far into the run do you think you'll be doing something like that?
I would have to believe if part of me thinks that I need a staff for that, but
it's true.
Who knows what I can do? I mean, if it feels like Sledge can be put on a bit of a hiatus, I'll do it that way. But yeah, it seems like it's hard to imagine being able to do that without affording a staff
Yeah.
to handle other things.
No, that makes sense. Now you have the imprint, you have obviously the books and stuff like that. Where are you? Where will you be next? Like, what's the next comic book show that you're planning? Like, what's it looking like?
There was, see, I was invited to be a part of it's kind of it's a whole mix of folklore. I might be able to quickly find that again. I mean, I was in the middle of that same trip I talked about with down on my anniversary trip. What did he share? Eric Struble was his name. Where is that? Hopefully I can pick it up quickly. Or is it Utah Comics Creators? Comic Book League, I want to say it is. So let's quickly find it.
Is that like a show in your area that he's promoting, or?
Yes, it's it's a show that's in Roy, Utah, about 20 minutes away from where I live here, and they said there's no fee, so that's a big help.
That's awesome, man.
It's proceeds are supposed to go to charity, so we'll see what I do with that. But it'll be a nice showcase opportunity, and the next Ogden Con is in October.
Oh, okay.
And,
okay.
I mean, you guys are totally right that the local conventions that they give you more visibility than the big ones, because they're devoted to comics. Well, yeah. I mean, with the Ogden cons that I've been to lately, we've got, who knows, the dominating type of vendor, I think, has been the back issue comics.
Yeah, that's huge. That's going to be at pretty much every comic book convention. You're going to see a lot of that. Just the guys selling, the old comics and stuff like that, because there's a market for it. I mean, that's a huge market,
And so they've got that. I also see people they bring in the 3D printed toys and some of the more vintage comic based toys, like Todd McFarlane stuff. So
the one that you said that there's no fee, is that a 1 day show, a 2 day show, or
I believe it's a 1 day.
Okay, and then the Ogden one is 2 days.
Yes. Well, no, it's 1 day. I mean, if I get the opportunity to like last year to go to the FanX, I think I'll still go there if it's the same thing where I don't have to worry about the fee. And I mean, who knows? I've seen my fellow indies. They've built enough of a name for themselves that they do sell there. Yeah. So if I can build that, before September, then who knows?
Yeah. No, and it's good because it sounds like you have a nice set of books already to come in. So if people want the book, you have issues 1 to 3, issue 4 is coming on Kickstarter, so you can be promoting that. When is that launching, by the way? Okay.
So the end date is June 15th, so there's not much time.
Right. Oh, it's coming.
And I projected that I'll be able to get for at least mail orders. I'll get those out in August.
Okay.
So that's what I'm looking ahead on. And it's
a 30-day campaign, Kerry?
It was a 37-day campaign.
Okay.
And but I worked on getting some additional optimization that has helped some. But I mean, it felt like, like I said, I was, here I'm hoping to build more visibility before the FanX, that it would be profitable. But it was one of those feelings like I might have gotten my foot in that door in the last Ogden Con, where I did have somebody come by and see the titles of, oh yeah, I've heard of that. So,
oh, cool. That's awesome, man. Yeah, that's always nice when people recognize and know they've seen that before. So that's freaking awesome, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. How far along are you in the art process with 4?
So currently we are on we're on the 8th page production wise.
Okay.
And so I figure on having 10 pages completed by the time I get fulfillment, where I would be using that to pay for the rest of it.
And it's full color, right? You're doing it full color.
Full color this time. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you had sent some stuff. They look good, man. They look
Thank
good.
you.
Yeah. And I noticed you went with the logo at the bottom of the book instead of the top. Is that just because of the way the cover was designed, or did you want to try something new, putting the logo at the bottom?
It's kind of become my preference. I mean, I know that it was put at the top for issue number 1, but I mean, the visual I create with that title.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like a big, hammerhead coming down on the surface, cracking where it hits.
Mm-hmm.
I that kind of feels wrong if it's right above, the people
That's what you're saying.
on the title.
Right.
I think it works better if it's below him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, because it looks like it's cracking. Even though, it's funny when as you were saying that, I was like, oh, because it looks like it's pointing down, but then when it's pointing down towards like the ground cracking. So I guess I see what you mean. Yeah.
But I mean, I'm happy to say that I put together the basic design for that. I mean, it looks pretty crude, but then I had one other friend who's an artist. I mean, I probably would have hired him as the artist to draw these if it wasn't that he was doing very well. I believe it still is a side hustle where he paints murals for kids' rooms.
Cool.
But Spencer Douglas, he's did me quite the favor. I mean, I don't have the image of Sledge that he drew that accompanied that title, but he perfected that, gave it the nice chrome look to it, and the crack.
That's awesome, man.
That looked believable.
Nah, it looks good, man. It looks good. Now, listen, Gary, this, obviously you're always welcome to come to the show. I know you have some stuff going on. Obviously, you're going to be doing these shows and the Kickstarter, but where else can they find you? Do you have a website set up for Bent Peak yet, or are you still working on that?
I do have a website, and I'm just realizing that I suck at figuring out just how things get put in places and where the links go. I mean, it's hard for me to find out where to click that will put something there.
Gotcha.
So still working on making that work. But there is one.
All right. So I'm going to give you the screen. Give us your elevator pitch. Why should people back the campaign now? And go for it.
So he's not a superhero. He's not a cop. He's not a vigilante. He's a bouncer. And we've got, he's risen and he's impressed everybody with his technology, but now high tech has come to challenge him in the form of androids that will be very formidable. They'll be coated with a polymer that's organic, where the punches will hurt, and he's got to find a way to bring that down, and he's got to find the madman behind it and bring him down.
Outstanding. All right. Great having you on again, as always, and much success to you. I think right now your campaign, you're up to 12 backers right now, and growing. So again, there's 12 days left of the campaign. So the link's in the chat. It's also in the summary, guys. Go check it out.
19 days.
Give it a shot. 19 days. Oh, okay, cool.
Yes. So yeah, please give it a look. I promise to satisfy.
There you go. Thank you, Gary, for being on the show again, and you're always welcome back anytime, brother.
Thank you. I'll be doing that.
Take care, man.
You too.
All right, that was Kerry Chug. Again, check out the link in the chat and also in the summary, and give it a shot. Always great to have independents on the show, and I'm looking forward to see what happens with this campaign.
Yeah, man, looks good. Kerry's, consistency, man. You just got to keep doing it, man. Like I said, comic books take a while to put together, and especially especially when obviously for you're the artist, writer, whatever, everything that takes a while.
Yeah.
When you're the writer, you know, the money has to be in, and you know, to pay an artist. So either way, you're always, you know, it seems like you're always behind the eight ball when it comes to creating these books. So whenever you see somebody still doing their thing, it's always awesome, man.
It's a tough game, and I think you know, it's easy to get frustrated, especially on crowdfunding. You know, you get frustrated, right? Because you know, you see what's trending, what's hot, what's all that stuff, whatever. You just got to keep grinding. I said, you know, just keep grinding, be relentless, and be consistent, and keep on pushing, you know, and always make sure that the next issue is better than the last issue, and then keep on and keep on and keep on. You know.
Yeah. No, 100%, man, 100%. But
we got a topic today,
talk
right?
A little bit about the topic for today.
Yeah, get your meds. Are you guys ready for some interactive, high octane conversation? And the guy who gave us the topic's not even in the chat. What's up with that?
Michael.
Oh, damn. I guess we're gonna have our meds without the San Martino. All right, let's do this.
It's time for your medicine.
What do you do? What do we do about the clingers? Clingers. Oh, dang.
You know, now I don't even remember how the topic came up. But
me neither. When you sent this to me, I was like, where did this come from?
So a few weeks ago, we were talking about conventions and how, you know, whenever you're at a convention, you constantly have to hustle. You got to be standing up. And then I don't know how this came up, but we were talking about, you know, sometimes you get people who come to the table and you will be pitching to them for hours and they never buy anything. So San Martino was in the chat and he was like, yeah, the clingers, right? Like, what do you do about the clingers? The people the people who kind of come to the table, you know, want to hang out, but don't really, you know, don't just kind of stay and hover around the table. So that's where the topic came from. And he said, make the topic.
You know who you are. Those
make
people.
The topic. Yeah. So here we are. We're talking about clingers. And it sounds like a negative thing. And you know, it could be, depending on who the clinger is. But I've made friends with some of our clingers, bro.
Yeah, you make friends with everybody, bro.
You know what I mean? Yeah, man.
It's the Dream of Medina mystique. That's what it is.
We're talking, we're hanging out. You know, you never know who you're going to meet at these conventions. Yeah. You know, sometimes it's cool. But how do you deal with clingers, Sam?
Well,
what is your thing here?
First, the longest one I had was about 1 hour and 45 minutes.
Damn.
1 hour and 45 minutes, and it was at Cowtown Comic Con last year. And Cowtown Comic Con last year, the floor plans were whacked out. Yeah. Right. There was no straight lines. It was like behind columns and side winds, and everything was just a weird layout for the floor plan for where it was, because it's all these in corners. Then the convention promoters were turning people away because they had a bigger event that they were getting ready for that evening, and they didn't want to have to deal with the traffic. So they were telling people that there was no way the convention ended. So traffic, you know, there was different. So I didn't mind because there was not a lot of foot traffic, right? So I was like, I got nothing to do, so I'd rather just talk to you. But it was 1 hour and 45 minutes, and it was a long conversation, and walked away, didn't buy nothing. Nothing. 1 hour 45 minutes of my time. And I was like, and it's time I can't get back. It's not like I can go and get in Back to the Future, get in the car and get my time back. I can get it back, right? But I was being cordial. Even though I had you know, fellow artists like, yo, what the hell, right? They were getting annoyed with the fact how long this person was there. And but I was like, whatever. I was cordial, whatever. Came back the next day with his fiance or his wife and made a purchase.
All right. See?
The next day, right? So while that day I was like, yo, I just lost all that time. They came back the next day, made a purchase. I was like, all right. There was an investment for a slow show. It was actually, I did really well for a really slow show. But yeah, there was 1 hour and 45 minutes because I was looking at the clock. I was like, yo, they still here? I was like, all right. I was like, I don't know what else I could talk about. I was like, all right, just keep the cut. But there was nobody stopping, you know, because there was no traffic on our end. And so when I got the traffic, I wanted to capitalize on it. a couple of times with some people that kept moving. I was like, I was like, oh man, I just lost out. But I was nice. I was nice, and I accommodated, and it paid off in the long run.
What up, Dan? Damn, that's a long time. Yes, it
Yeah.
is. And Will is in the house. What up, William? How you doing, my man? But yeah, no, dude. I mean, yeah, there are times where here's the thing with
Here's the thing. Let me tell you something.
That kind of hangs out. The thing is, for those watching who maybe go to a table and maybe stand at a table and kind of chat it up and like to chat to the creators, that's cool. But I think that when you are doing that, and I do it sometimes, because when I go to conventions and I walk around, I'll know somebody at a table and I'll stand and I'll talk to them. But you have to remember they're there to sell. So when you see somebody come to the table, just move out of the way. Move out of the way and let them know, hey, check this out. Help them make the sale. If you're not going to do any purchasing, put them to work. Yeah, that's what Nebo would say. Put them to work. Just kind of move out of the way so that people can, kind of check out what's going on at the table. Because to your point, right? Sometimes you feel like, damn, I just missed out on that sale because you're trying not to be rude and keeping them moving. Now, I do know creators that'll just stop in the middle of a conversation with somebody, and if they see a possible sales, they'll just stop talking to that person and keep moving. And that person may think that person's being rude, but you got to understand they're there to try to sell this book to as many people as possible.
Yeah. And that's the caveat, right? That's the difference, right? So if it's slow and there's no traffic, I don't mind. But if it's hopping and there's a lot of people and all you just want to do is talk, I will say, can you give me 1 second? And I'll move on and I'll come back and continue the conversation. But so it all depends. But I always try to be polite. But there's two extremes. Like that one was an hour and 45 minutes, but it was a great conversation. I mean, we were talking, there was nothing happening anyway, so I didn't mind, right? I was bored as hell. But there's those that'll stand in front of your table, block everybody, and just stare at you. And no matter what you say, they don't even respond.
They stare at you.
I'm like,
that's more than a clinger, bro. I mean, that's dangerous right there.
that is like, trench coat mafia type stuff, right? It's like,
what did I do?
Hey, sometimes my friends show up and hang around too long and I've had it a few times where you get this figure stand in front of you and like, hey, how's it going? And they don't respond. Hey, what attracted you to my booth? Nothing. Oh, you like sci-fi? Nothing.
Now, are they looking through the book or are they just looking at you?
And they just stare. First, they're just staring.
Some people purchase.
Then they'll pick something up, and then whatever. I was like, hey, you want a free trading card? And they don't respond. I'm like, I'm giving you a free, and you still don't respond. And that's where I'm trying to prevent myself from having an out of body, experience, right? I just don't want to, I'm like, I've tried everything, and you get nothing, and it's just dead stare, and then they'll walk away. Right. And so it's like, then you got that, right? So you have two extremes. You have the ones that are chatty catties, and then you have the ones that don't say a word. And I don't know if they're trying to communicate subliminally, like aliens or whatever. But I'm like, I just don't understand your language, bro. But, so you get those two extremes.
Yeah. That's the hello McFly moment. But to Dan's point, sometimes your buddies can't come to the table and sometimes they can hang around too long, and prevent you from, because it's your friends, right? It's your people. You want to, you kind of just talking about stuff, but sometimes we got to remember, damn, like you said, we're there to sell these books, and it's important that we're focused and we're doing, because you never know who's going to come up to the table, or you never, I like to get people to the table. I'm not, I don't kind of just stand around and wait for them to come to the table. So I like to get them in there, especially like if I'm with Jonathan. Jonathan's good at bringing people into the table. So there's always somebody to sell to, and if you have people around the table who are kind of just hanging out, which is fine, you know what I mean? It makes it tough. It definitely does. Yeah. So how to handle clingers. I think this is a PSA, right? To all the clingers who are watching the show today.
You know who you is.
Please don't do this to your creative friends.
Por favor.
Or the people who are selling books at a show. If you know you're not going to buy a book, because if you're not going to buy a book, have a conversation, wish them well, and keep it moving.
Oh,
You
the
know what I'm
best. Oh, the best is when they come over and they're asking you a billion questions. You think, yo, I got this
It's
one. I
on.
got
It's
this.
on.
And they
It's
go,
about to happen.
I don't have any money, but I just wanted to come over and just check it out. I'm like, after you just killed 20 minutes of my time and you made me give you my pitch and give you my whole life story, I feel used. I don't even get a hug. What's up with that? I'm like,
Listen, and and that's the thing. To me, I think if somebody comes up to the table and lets you speak for 20 minutes, that's cruel. Number
that's
one.
cruel. That's
But
abuse.
But also, it's like, you're not gonna buy anything. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't have any money, don't. We have had those people who say, I don't have any money on me. I just spent the last thing. So at least okay, it's up to me whether or not I want to give this guy the pitch.
Right.
Because he already told me there's no money in his pocket. So
yes.
he already set me up for that. Okay. He already told me.
Yeah.
So it's up to us now whether we engage or whether we say then, all right, well then, here's a card. Thank you for stopping. You know what I mean? Like, check it out on online. The funny thing is, though, I have had people who basically said that, I just spent my last dime or whatever. But you can convince people to spend something as long as your pitch is right and they do like what they're seeing.
Yes.
So sometimes that could be, a little psych, a little, hey, I'm just, just so that you don't sell me too hard on this thing. But sometimes the pitch is good enough to sell them. You know what I mean?
Or just how you flip it. I was like, I get it, man. There's a lot of options, and I'm sure you had a list of things you wanted to get. No, I understand, but you know what? Here's my card. And they look at the trading, go, oh, this is fire. And I was like, check out my website at your leisure, and if you like something there, order from the website.
Mm-hmm.
Then they leave and they come back with a hot dog in their mouth. They go, you know what? I'm gonna get that. I said, oh, you got money all of a sudden, right?
Yeah,
but
no, it's
I'm
true.
like, but I think that's the biggest thing. You gotta stay focused. You gotta stay in the game, and always remember, you can turn it around.
Yeah.
You just gotta figure out. It's like the Matrix, right? It's like a game of chess. You gotta figure out what's the trigger that's gonna cause them to say, "I'm gonna reach in my pockets."
Yeah. Don't dismiss the guy who says I have no money. You know what I mean? Because you never know. He may, like you said, he may turn it around. A 5-minute conversation will bring people to notice how much attention you drew and spike curiosity. Yeah, there is something about that, man. If they don't buy, I'll give them a postcard. Yeah, there's something about just something going on at that table. People are like, what's going on over there? It's like a bad accident. What's going on over there? People just want to see what's going on, and then they may just come over just because there's a bit of a crowd that's formed.
And you know what? And that goes back. I think it's flipping. You got to learn how to flip, and that's why I do the bounce backs. I call them bounce backs. It's the trading cards. I give out the trading cards as part of a set, a collector set, right? The samurai cards, and I have 24 comic book fans in Texas that just come to the events because they want that next card, and they know every year I release 2 new cards, right? And they want to add it, but they always come, they get the card, but they always make a purchase, right? And they're like, I gotta get the next card. You got the next card? Yeah, it's like, yeah, I'm adding this to my right because once you build that, you got to keep cultivating that. But it took work to flip them. And 9 times out of 10, the ones who don't buy the first time, they have that card. It's top of mind. They go back to the hotel. They'll go back to their home. They go, you know what? I'm going to check it out. Boom.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, just this past, what was it? A few months ago, in April, when I was in Jersey, I had my cards, obviously for the shameless plug. And, it's coming on Kickstarter, but some people pre-ordered the book during that weekend, just because I gave them the card and we had a conversation about the book and I pitched it to them. And they didn't buy anything at the table. And I thought, okay, this was just a conversation. I managed to get some sales from it. So you never know. I mean, you never know. And that's why I think that it's very important. And I know that a lot of us don't have websites because, it's another expense. And, we have social,
I'm contemplating that.
Media.
I'm contemplating that next year. So I'm like, do I still want to continue that website, or do I just want to do a Facebook and sell my stuff on Facebook? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, but that's the thing, right? I feel like you have less control on Facebook.
Yeah.
Because they can take your stuff down, or they can tell you can't sell. That's why the websites, it's hard to sell. People do it. It's tough. It's tough to get them to go to the site. I think that just like anything else, man, there's a way to design a site that will entice people to buy. That's part of it.
I haven't cracked that yet.
Something. Yeah. You have to do something on the site that entices them. Visuals are very important on the website. It's got to be clean. It's got to, it's got to be easy to navigate. If I want to shop, I want to be able to just click, shop, and go. I don't want to have to click 5 times, 6 times. All right, I just want this. But by the time I click 3 times, I'm done. I'm like, I'm not buying this. because it's got to be an impulse buy.
That's it. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's got to be that impulse buy. Boom. Oh, it's easy. Boom. It's done. I bought it. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a science to that stuff too.
But you know who I flipped in Texas. They got the Ghostbusters. They got the Ghostbusters of Texas. A crew. They go around convention to convention to do all the conventions. Those guys love my duty Ghostbuster cards.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, and they like, yo, where's the next card, right? And so those guys are awesome. I love them. They go, yo, I got that. I can't wait for the next one. And so that's a promotion because those guys got a huge fan base. And they go from event to event. They got these big booths with these big giant Slimer and all this other stuff, whatever. So is that you just got to find a way to just market yourself. But know that when you have people at your table, every single person is a potential customer who can turn into a longtime fan if you have the patience and you know the hospitality to be able to deal with it, because it comes with the good, the bad, the ugly. You're gonna get the best cases and you get the worst cases. You know, best cases are the ones who come over, man. I've never seen this before. You know, how many issues do you have? I have this many issues. Oh wow, is that all you do? I said, no, I also got this. You know what? Let me get one of each. Boom. Those are the easy ones, right? The hard ones that you got to use your pitch, you got to use your charm, you got to throw everything out, right? The kitchen sink, try to get it because you got to pay that bill. You got to pay that table off. You got to pay that hotel off, the gas off, the food off.
Yeah, all that stuff. Carrie says you should see my daughter at conventions hustling to Sledge bookmarks. Yeah, and that helps, man. When you have somebody that can help you, you know, hustle the product and do your thing. Where like, you know, I have like with Jonathan, we have a system. If I step away from the table, it's like, oh, he'll make a sale and say, you know what, you know, if you hang out, I'll get the creator to sign it for you. And some people hang around and say, all right, cool, and they wait for you to come in.
Yeah.
If it helps, if they're a fan of you, yeah,
absolutely,
yeah, because you got to sell that to them too,
and you gotta love being there. I mean, come on, we all know it's a grind. It's taxing on your body, it's taxing on your psyche, right? You know, because you just drove whatever or flew wherever, and you had to unload and pack and set up and do all this stuff, and you're exhausted, right? And so then you got to sometimes it's the waiting game, because you know the first 2 hours. They're going around finding out where their favorite artists are, where the celebrity is, where this collectible is, right? They got a list. So you got to wait. And then they come around, they go and they're doing landmarks to say, oh, you know what? I'm going to come back later and check this out, check that out. So those first 2 hours, it's a waiting game, right? But if you don't love it, you're going to destroy yourself, because what's going to happen, 4 hours in, you didn't get a sale, you're going to start rationalizing with yourself and try to say, you know what, tomorrow will be better, but you still got 6 hours left. Right, but you already gave up mentally because you're talking about tomorrow. Tomorrow's gonna be better. You know, today's just slow. You got 6 hours left. You're still in the game, right? So it's like you got to stay in the game and not psych yourself. I hear it all the time from, you know, and then your head starts going down. Then you start drawing, and then you don't want to be. Then you walk away from your booth for 4 hours because you're gonna go and shop because you gave up, but you just spent $350 for that table. You know, so it's like. It's one of those things you can't give up. You got to stay in the game. You got to have the passion and the optimism. It's really, I'm always optimistic. You have to be optimistic, because you're there for a reason. Yeah. Why are you there? You want to build a fan base, right?
Yeah. You have to believe in your product, man, and you know, and you have to stay with it. It's for you. I mean, obviously, when you're doing it solo, bro, it's a lot harder than if you have somebody there. Yeah, it's brutal. It's that much hard. I mean, I think it's 10 times hard. When you're by yourself, dude, it's 10 times harder.
Because I never leave the booth. I program my body not to go to the bathroom because I stay at the booth the whole time.
Well, yeah, no, you can't. I mean, it's very hard unless you have somebody next to you that can watch it for a little bit. Yeah. But then you got to get right back. I mean, it's a quick trip to the bathroom and come back, and you have to be mentally there the whole time. Whereas if you have a buddy with you and things aren't going so well, you can maybe take a little walk. Yeah, you know what I mean, clear your mind a little bit, and then say, all right, let me get back and let's do what I got to do. So yeah, I mean, it's tough, man. One factor that made the last convention a marathon was that I was working through prescription side. Yeah, add that to the mix. That can't be fun.
As long as it wasn't Blue Magic, you're good.
The Blue Magic. The Blue Magic.
Was it a Harlem? The King Harlem, or that movie with Denzel Washington?
Denzel Washington.
Yeah. Blue Magic. But yeah. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing. I think for me, it's like I'm getting ready. I needed this break, really. I need, because I've been traveling for work, and I there's no way. I'm glad I canceled not doing the shows that I was booking for, March, April, May, and June, because I wouldn't have the stamina or to do that, plus the Kickstarter, plus travel for work, right? So I consciously I made an adult decision. I said, and I love those conventions, bro. I love them. I'm looking forward to the RetroCon, right? And I don't know what to expect, because it's a retro convention. It's a lot of collectibles and toys and all that other stuff, whatever. And it's a shot in the dark.
Yeah.
But it's an opportunity for me to connect with people and show another audience, introduce them to my work, right? So that means I'm going over there with energy. I'm going over there with excitement. I'm going over there ready, with optimism, and for whatever comes, the weird, the unique, the eccentric, right? Whatever, because comics, it brings all of them, right? It's like The Walking Dead. You just open up the floodgates, you don't know what you're gonna get, right? But I wouldn't change a thing, bro. That's the reason why we do it.
Yeah. Nah, yeah, for sure, man. That's what it is. It's exciting, man. So is this a shameless plug? Yeah, it's fun, dude. I think my favorite part of the conventions are those, traveling to the convention, the setup, obviously it's cool. And then, just sitting there and just kind of like, it's tough. It's not easy, but you look back and you're like, yo, I'm looking forward to doing the next one. Especially when you have a good one. When you have a good convention, you can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, because I got to grind. I got 7 for the year that's coming up, and I'm excited about all of them. 4 of them are ones I've never done before, right?
Yeah,
and I'm excited about those. I love to do shows I've never been. So new territory. I get to see. I get to see the lay of the land and connect with new promoters and other people. I mean, it's again, you never know. It's the conventions. That's the reason why I got Herman published, by Make Better Comics, or Make More Comics, or Make Comics Good. It's because of the networking. I got duty in a comic strip in a newspaper, right? It's because of doing that stuff. I got the cover for, Cycle Sal, right?
Yeah.
So it's the
yeah.
networking. It's not just, it's about getting your brand out there to the people. So when you have the clingers, embrace the clingers.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, I was tired as I always look forward to the next one, even when I'm behind the table. Yeah, man.
You look forward to it, man. It's a way to get out. It's it's just, you're hanging out with, especially like hanging out with friends and stuff like that, and seeing people you don't see, for a while.
Oh, when you get cool people
good.
that are in your row, right? And sometimes you get, you it all depends on who you get, right? So you might have some neighbors that are really cool. And we've had neighbors that have come on Catch the Craze because I've made the connection at the convention. I'm like, yo, dude, you ever been on a podcast? Come on my show, right? And so it's good for just peer-to-peer networking. It's good for industry networking, and it's also good for exposure. And so the clingers, I appreciate you, right? Because you actually took the time to say, let me talk to this guy and let me find out about his stuff. You didn't have to. You had 1,000 other locations to stop.
Yeah.
But you chose me, right? So I'm like, all right, screw it. If it becomes a sale, great. If it doesn't, at least you learned about the stuff and you walked away with a card. You can go to your home and check it out on your leisure. And then hopefully eventually you turn. And I tell you right now, 75% of the people that walked away have become a buyer of my product. And because they walked away with something in their hand, they got something for free and something of quality. Like the trading cards, you've seen the trading cards I do, they're fire, right? And they love it, right? So it's like, yo, I'm getting this for free. Yeah. Damn. And I walked away. Buy anything? You know what? Let me at least try. Let me at least pick up issue 1.
Yeah.
Right.
But even outside of just giving them something for free, it could be a card. It could totally be just a card. It's about the connection you make with that person. It's what makes
is this person likable?
Worth it for them. Yeah. Because you can get a dope card from a total jerk and you don't give a crap. But if you add to the fact that you had a conversation with this person and they feel like, yo, man, we had a cool conversation. This guy's pretty cool, man. Let me see what he's got. Let me see what she's got. Let me see what they're doing.
I'm gonna remember their name the next one. I should have had that ready because I didn't know we were having this conversation, right? So I got hit up on Instagram. I get hit up on Instagram a lot. And shout out to all you guys on IG that follow me and that are really digging my stuff. But I got hit on Instagram and a guy is like, yo, are you gonna be at this convention in Houston? I said, no, I'm not doing that this year, Comic Palooza. I said, no, but I'll be doing another one in Houston in October. And he's a comic collector, right? And he does a lot of big comic He's like, I'm coming out there because I want to support you. I like your stuff, right? Then I had a dad. He reached out to me. Hey, are you going to be at this show? I said, no, I'm not doing that this year. But here's my tour dates, and this is where I'm going to be throughout the state. And he's like, I want to introduce you to my son. My son's an aspiring artist, and I love what you do, and I think your story is really cool, right? They found me on Instagram, and then they went to the YouTube channel, and they saw the Art of Samuel. They seen the vlogs, and they're like, yo, I like this guy's story. I'm gonna go and support it, right? So again, that's the reason why you never know who you're talking to. It could be somebody who found you on your social media and they want to see who you are as a person in real life, right? You don't know. They could have known you before you think, you don't know who they are, but they could have saw you and maybe liked one of your images. And let me go, I see his name. Let me go show up. Don't make any assumptions and just try to build a relationship.
And I think, and this is an aside, because, with all the stuff that happens online, this is why it's so important to
stay positive.
Be a cool person online, man. Like, don't be a jerk. Just, you know what I mean? Like, I think that if you have views on the world or whatever, and you want to, talk about that stuff, if you're selling a comic or if you're selling whatever, some people don't care, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I think that that's the reason why, because especially for us, right? We sell stuff that's more, more kid friendly and things like that. It's for a younger audience. How's it gonna look if we're over here, talking about this, talking about that, when the parents like, yo, if this person's like this, what is he writing about? What is he going to be writing about that my kid is going to want to read when this is the person that I'm seeing on social media? You understand what I'm saying? So that's why, to me, it's important. Because look at this person, for example, got you online, saw you online, was probably checking, let me see what this person's really like about, what he's about, saw you, says, okay, this is something that my kid can read. This is something, if this guy's selling something for kids, let this person not be a creep or somebody crazy online, because, so you got to be mindful of that stuff, especially like for people like us who are doing things for a younger audience. Like, how does that look?
Yeah.
We obviously, we're human beings, we're men, we're grown ass men. There are certain things that we do like.
Yeah. But, I can tell you how many times I'm doing an elevator pitch. I'm thinking the person never heard of me. And then they make a purchase. Yeah, I follow you on Twitter. I wanted to come and pick up your book. You find out afterwards, right? So you never know. They're doing their homework too. They're like, yo, I saw this, whatever. So be polite, man. Energy attracts energy, and I believe when you're having fun and you're smiling and it's genuine, it's infectious, and people want some of that. Because you never know what the other person's going through. Maybe they just needed a moment to just detox, and you just happen to be a good smiling face. And they said, I'm going to talk to them. Maybe they weren't interested in your product, but that moment for them was a way for them to just relax, right? In a crowded environment that's just like, right? And they're like, oh man, my wife's going to yell at me because I spent so much money, whatever it is. But you don't know, so don't make any assumptions, and just treat them the way you would treat a guest in your home.
Yeah, and I say this all the time, man. Don't give them a reason not to buy your book. They already have enough reasons. They already have Funko Pops. They have, autographs they want to get. They got a whole bunch of reasons not to buy your. Don't give them another reason not to buy your stuff.
The reasons that way.
Don't do it. Don't sabotage yourself. You know what I'm saying? So
don't sabotage.
Don't sabotage. But yeah, that's the topic. That was the topic. Clingers. How do you guys deal with clingers if you do shows? Are you a clinger? Tell us your best clinger.
Yo, are you a clinger? Let us know. Messed up, yo.
Let us know.
Yo, do I need medication for that?
I'm a clinger. Yes,
I'm a clinger.
I'm proud. I'm a clinger and I'm proud.
Yeah, what's up, Johnny? Side facts in the house.
Let us know. What up, Johnny?
Yeah.
So no show next week, right, Sam?
No show next week. I'm traveling the week. Let me pull up Calendly right now.
Yeah.
And if you booked the show and I didn't block it on the calendar, my bad. Let's see. The Hamburger. Let's see. Nope. Yep. The next show is JP Plaque on June 17th. So I don't think we got a guest on the week after. So we'll just come up with a topic and we'll just chat with all of you out there. Sweet. But yeah, so that's going to be cool. But yeah, next week I'm traveling for work. I got a few work travel days coming up, a bunch of them coming up. It's crazy. But yeah, man, this was a good topic. Shout out to Kerry. I see that his campaign moved. He's up to 13 backers now. So congrats. Making magic happen tonight. And it's always good to be on Cast the Craze podcast. I'm just telling you, stop acting up. But yeah, it was a fun topic.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Good stuff. Yeah, don't forget that we won't be here next week. I will have I will be live next week on Get Your Meds on YouTube. So check that out. Talking to Mr. Philip Russert. And check out the website. Check me out on social media. Follow, do all that fun stuff. It was real, guys. Thanks for the opportunity. No doubt, Carrie. Always welcome back, my brother.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all I got, Sammy.
Yeah, man. Again, like I said, Catch the Craze podcast, founded in 2005, the first independent comic book podcast in the game and the longest running. We created this because we wanted to give a platform to the unsung heroes, the indie creators that no one was spotlighting because it was so focused on the mainstream comic book creators. So when we grow, the independent community grows. So if you're watching this, or if you catch us on Spotify or any of the audio streaming platforms, please head over to YouTube and subscribe. Give us a like, thumbs up, share it with a friend. Let everybody know where you found us. And if you're an aspiring creator, it doesn't matter what medium you're in, head over to Catch the Craze and sign up and get yourself booked on our show. You don't need to ask. There's a calendar link on our channel. Just hit that up. And we love to hear your story. It's about you more so than your product. And we love to share your story with the world. So thank you, everybody out there, for supporting us. And again, for everybody who backed the Kickstarter, it's in the lettering phase. It's on target to be shipped out in July, so you'll get it on time. And when we come back on Catch the Craze in 2 weeks, I'll have an announcement for Duty's World. So you don't want to miss that. It's going to be fun. And in July, see you at Retro Comic Con. It's going to be a fun show. With that said, wait, hold on. We got some comics. Yeah, baby. That's why we do it. Right? And then we got lead them with a fun, uplifting, positive experience, add value to their time, and be of value to their day. Yes, it will come back to you. Absolutely. Comma, baby. Comma.
100%.
With that said, I'm Sam the Crazy Man, Vera.
Dream on Mondina.
And we are out. It's just easy kids. That's not.
Crazy.
Acquiesce.
No, I was talking about my friend Acquiesce. Say my name, right?
This is what you were thinking? Oh,
How he described me? He said, I'm the
You're Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. To Catch the Craze. You are listening to Catch the Craze on Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze.